Okay, so it's 17 January and driving in LA. We left friend James, came down with me, left Phoenix, Mesa about 8:30 this morning, 6-hour drive. We just had a chance to pick up a DCP, which is a digital content package. I have a documentary, Empowered, that's playing in some festivals and a few theaters around, so I had to get a second one because we're starting to book more than one at a time. And so I've been working with Donovan. He's at Bricktown Digital for, I don't know, 8-9 years. He did our first DCP with our More Than Fry Bread film, and so we stopped, met him in person first time. It's always nice somebody you're working with at least to interact with them for a few minutes. So he was gracious, allowed us to get a tour of his building, and had a nice little theatrical room. And his office happened to be inside of Sigma lenses, and so they had a huge showroom with all these thousands and thousands of dollars of glass just in line, rows and rows and rows. And I think my mind shut off because there was so many great lenses and stuff. So that was fun. And then we're walking out of Subway and look over, and there's some kid in a car. She has a nice little camera shooting in the back, and some trucks following along, so they're shooting some project. And just when you're kind of in the mecca of the film world, this is kind of normal. It's exciting, it's fun being here. Same time, I like where I'm at in Mesa as well, just to kind of stay focused on what next project. And so tonight we check in our hotel, and I'm trying to finish up another pass on the script, and then I'm going to send that off to my wife's going to read it, and I have another friend that's going to read it, and I hope to get that feedback Monday, and Monday will be the next time I start back again, going through it again. So right now it's just that, writing is rewriting. I've heard lots of the screenwriting masters say. So it's been good. James is a safe driver, and
no, it's been really great being, like you said, up in Burbank area. It's like a mecca. There's everything from Dolby is there. We saw Sigma, VFX shops. It's just really cool seeing everything in one place.
So here we are. I'll keep you updated, getting ready. Tomorrow morning we have the big nominee breakfast, the PGA, and we'll go and see how that goes. And then tomorrow night's the big awards where the winners with the PGA happens tomorrow evening. We're not going to that. It's a few $100s for tickets. It's fun being able to get a ticket to that, but it's not as fun not having the funds or willing to part with those funds to go to that event. So suppose we can watch it online. But the PGA award stuff, they say, is kind of the winners that come out of that are usually the movies and the winners that go on to win a bunch of the awards, and with the Oscars and some of the other awards that happen around this time of year. Just arriving at the nominee breakfast Saturday morning and driving into the cultural center where it's going to be held. So a little nervous, a little excited. Very tiny minnow in the ocean. So look forward to having a couple of friends we're going to meet up with, and it'll be fun. Be a good time. Lots to learn. So this is a great place to learn and great people to learn from. So here at the Producers Guild, it's just had a great breakfast, had salmon and some fruit, some good stuff like that. Getting ready to listen to the producers of the 10 of the big films this year. It's fun being in the same room, even though I'm such a small little minnow in the big vast ocean. Lots to learn here, lots and lots of people that teach me a lot of things. So this is kind of the ultimate, sitting on one of those chairs up there is kind of the ultimate top of the film world. So there'll be some big names up there, and just to be in the building and even in the back seat, back row, sitting by my, with a couple of good friends and stuff, it's an honor to be here. So long ways to go, but it's fun, kind of breathing the same air that's here.
Okay, I'm gonna do them all together because they're wildcats. Okay, so starting from my right, we have Pippa Harris from 1917. We have Noah Baumbach, Marriage Story. Anna Tillender-Koskov, The Joker. Bergman nods out. Jano Toppin, Ford versus Ferrari. Karthun Neal, Jojo Rabbit. Amy Pascal, Little Women. Jane Rosenthal, The Irishman. Bong Joon-ho, Parasite. And his translator.
So just leaving the nominee breakfast, it's noon. We were there, about 3.5 hours. And just some quick thoughts. One is I didn't take in my journal, so I couldn't write down a lot more than I wanted to. And I usually do a pretty good job of always having my journal with me, but I didn't this time and I regret it. So I was trying to send text to myself, but I can write faster than I can type. So how many times I've had to learn that lesson in my life is another one added to the score. Just some quick thoughts on after this event where you have kind of all the top 10 movies that are up for all the awards this year. One that really I think comes to mind with all of it is it humanizes, like being involved, being there in the same room with people that are producing at the highest level in the world. Being in that room with them, it humanizes what we're trying to do. And then you hear stories. One of the guys talked about, I think it was knives, all knives out in the family, or your family get your knives out, or what the name of that movie is. He talked about how they went and they decided this is a movie we want to make. They talked about it for a long time, but like, okay, this is the time to do it. We're gonna write it. You know, the director starts writing it and the producer starts going along and starts doing the pre-production stuff, starts lining that stuff up. They have no other outside money. They have nothing. They're gonna self-finance it. They're moving along and they're gonna shoot it, you know, by the end of the year. That year they're gonna write it and shoot this film. And so of course I really connect to the story they're telling, and because it's so familiar, right? Same thing I'm trying to do with Touch the Water, other than the element I'm adding in on top of that is not just making the film, but also marketing the film and getting into theaters before the year's over. So there's my little twist on that. But it's just refreshing knowing that these are guys top of the line, and ladies top of the business, telling things, their struggles and joys and triumphs, and it just ringing so true at my little tiny level of where I'm at trying to make this film happen. Just really, really interesting and empowering in a way. Empowering that, look, these are the big guys, ladies, struggling with this stuff. So who am I as this little fish having, you know, these struggles are there, whether you have billions of dollars or you have $100 to make your project. So very refreshing, eye-opening. I know there's numerous other things that probably could talk about and go on, and going right now to a meeting with a friend of mine, works at Universal, interested, trying to get some more information of marketing. How do you strategically set up a film, just theatrical distribution? How do you better market? And of course, even above and beyond that is just meeting with a friend that I made a few years ago. Had another friend that introduced us, and so that's more important than all the other business stuff, is just having those good relationships. So headed to that meeting, and then headed back to Arizona. 6 hours of driving. So maybe that time we'll get back on and say some things, open up, and I know James has a lot of insights, I'm sure, too, with being his first time here, and some maybe perspectives or things that I've missed or different takes and stuff. So maybe we'll do some of that if James up for it, see if he'll sign a talent release. And I think that this is just a sample of so many times in the world where you whether it's, you know, film production or you're for some reason racing horses. Like, these are the horses that always win the whatever the big horse race is every year, And then once you actually go there and you get in those stables and stalls, you still realize like, hey, these horses have to have the same halters or same equipment, or somebody has to physically get on them and ride them around the track. They still have to go out and run and get ready to go to prepare and train and all that stuff that goes into that horse race to get at that level, and then realize like, wait, this is stuff we're doing at our level. And so anyway, really confirming like this is possible, keep going, kind of that empowering point. We're leaving LA, driving away from the sunset. Just wrapped a great meeting with a friend from he works in the Universal Distribution, and very, very insightful, gave a lot of really good information. My head is honestly, it's about ready to explode. It's very, I'm saturated with knowledge and new knowledge and wisdom, and kind of reviving stuff that I've known and bringing back to life, or giving more depth to it. So very, very insightful, just the world of distribution and marketing, and how to, once a film's made, how to get it out there. And one of the things I was writing down and thinking about is if I had a year to actually do this, what would it look like? Instead of trying to hurry and get stuff made and move fast and shoot in February or March, what would it look like? How long would I spend in casting? So I was like, wow, if I could cast from now until the end of February, and then go into, trying to find the funds and sponsorships for the next, from now, have that going congruently, is that the right word? Have it going the same time as I'm casting, trying to get those funds come in. So by the middle of March, we're able to have the funds ready to go on the film, and then to go into pre-production middle of March, those couple of weeks into March, and then go into that second week of April and shoot the month of April, 2 or 3 weeks of April to get it shot, and then May 1st to start editing, and then edit through the end of August, and then September to have the time we take the film and we go out and we start having our private screenings with the communities and the institutions that put up some of the monies that sponsored the film, to go and do kind of those private screenings. And after that first week of October, to go and play in a theater, and then get people out to have that world premiere at a theater, and then to open up a little bit wider, maybe a month or a few weeks later after that, to start a theatrical, to really be in a handful of theaters in November, Native American month and stuff. That was kind of thoughts I was having this morning. So as I'm going along, having those meetings today, this time of year, trying to work on this film, I'm starting to get more of a solidified distribution strategy laid out, which I never have had those thoughts this early on of having more of a strategy. More is just like, well, let's try to do this, or now the film's done, let's go and try to do this. So reflecting on where we've been and where we're at now, I see there is progression. So that's a good thing to try to, like, how do we improve? And so to have a strategy. And then I'm excited because Chad just sent the final poster for our teaser poster for our one sheet. I have that on my phone, but it's probably a pretty large file, so getting back tonight or probably Monday morning, getting in and getting that out, and then probably going to be releasing that Monday along with our casting. This past few days I did a bunch of things with our casting. Our website will have the actors we're looking for, so really Monday's going to be a big day of kicking off our casting. This is the talent we're looking for, and right along have that little teaser poster, the one sheet of the film with the title, and what kind of give a little more sense of what the movie's about. So I've never had that before, and we're ready, getting ready to go with that. I want to take a minute with James here with just some of the stuff that was shared and talked about. Is we're both little, I don't even know what's before a minnow in the big white. We're a little I don't even know, I can't even think that small of being in the big ocean. So we're gonna try this out, see if it works.
I'm looking.
Just kidding. What was your impression first time going in? there, these guys walking in, guys and gals, and it was fun. They sat boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl on there. So actually, it would have been man, woman, but I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was quite an experience. It was coming to LA and just experiencing the everybody that was there. What I was impressed with is the contacts that Travis that you have here.
And I haven't paid James anything to say anything, whatever he's gonna say.
Right.
So just to get that out there.
It's like they're his friends. So they're just really kind, willing to talk with him, share information. It's been a great couple days here, just seeing how willing everybody here was just to talk with us. It was a lot more open than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and those relationships just haven't happened overnight. They've been, I think, at least 2 or 3 years in the making, and their relationships, number one, for just to be a friend. Like, just, I think with anything in life is building those positive relationships with people that are really honest. And I use the words without guile, like without wanting to have a friendship or relationship with all these things attached because you want to have this relationship. So yeah, that's, glad you mentioned that, but real honest, good friends, and trying to, like, how do I reciprocate? I really asked him, and sincerely, like, what can I do? Like, how can I create a win-win for you from this relationship, from our friendship, so it's not like, oh, here's this guy calling to bug me again, he's gonna want this or this or this, but to have like that real genuine friendship. And he said something that's really cool. He said was be successful. These things I'm sharing with you, be successful. And so to me, I wrote that down in my journal because I feel like that's an account. I want to be accountable to him for the things he's sharing. So that gives me a little bit more of emotion, a little more like that fire, that fuel of like, I want to be successful. One way to thank him for that he's just not throwing his wisdom and the things that he's learned over his life experience and stuff, working where he does, that I'm taking that and like holding that as a very special gift that he's given to me personally.
And also, speaking of that personal experience, I really appreciated from the PGA this morning. It's just, it was really neat to see these producers in that environment as real people, and to see whether faults or shortcomings they felt they had, or what they, it was really nice just to realize, hey, we're not that different from them, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
he has shoes on too.
Right, yeah, exactly. So that was fun. It was fun to kind of all of a sudden it became real. Like these are real people, real things, and they're making it work.
Right. Yeah, just that puts that humanity to this business. It's always like, oh, Hollywood, or the film industry, these faceless, voiceless or whatever out there, but it's yeah, the real people, and the ups and downs and the struggles and
the struggles that they have making their films are so similar to the struggles that you experience. They might be a different scale, but those
more zeros,
more yeah,
on the number, on the budget.
But some of their last minute changes and things that happen, it's just very interesting. That it doesn't, just because you have lots of money doesn't mean it's going to go smooth.
Yeah, right. And sometimes too, that creates a few more variables that come into the production and stuff, as well as having more resources in some ways, and sometimes it's like you have more money, so you can be less creative. That's something I liked. What they were saying is basically boiling it down. Some of it is like having more money, you still need to have the creativity. You still need, and they was kind of wrapped in the IP. I forgot.
Oh yes,
intellectual property. They have the intellectual property because two of the films, Little Women and Joker, that have that. Little Women, like 150 years, I think they were saying, of that history of when those books were written and all that, all the movies and series or whatever has been made on that. But the lady, the producer there, and I forget her name, just talked about, yeah, even when you have that intellectual property, you have to be careful with that, and not just use, we got this, but you still have to push in the creativity, and how do you make it something special? Why are you working on that?
Just because you have the intellectual property, you can't be lazy with the production.
Yeah.
But most of the movies there weren't off of prior IPs. They were new storylines,
Right.
which was interesting.
Yeah, only 2 of the 10 had IPs. I like saying that word IP. It makes me feel like I really know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And that's fun. Some of the fun too that I enjoy actually in Hollywood is just kind of getting some of the lingo in terms, so you can pretend to talk the talk, and then go back and I know the term, and now
a lot of what you guys were talking about this morning, there were terms and words I didn't know what you were saying half the time, because there's a whole language that you're slowly learning, that you're learning, because it's a whole world of conversation and history. So, but yeah, that learning some new words and language, that was fun today.
One big thing I was looking for coming towards the event this year is they have salmon for breakfast. So they have a bunch of grapefruit and then a big thing of salmon. The only other place that I've had more, I guess, free reign to salmon was just up with friends up in Nooksack, up in Washington, where had my family. We showed more than fried bread, I think, up there, and with the Nooksack Nation, they had a salmon feast, and I ate salmon until I was full, which was amazing. So coming away from this, I feel rejuvenated. I feel like a little more credibility,
right?
Justified in my thinking, I guess, in some ways. And then I realized like I have learned some stuff over the years, trying and failing, or trying and falling down, trying to hit a home run and beating the throw out to first base. Like I feel like I've learned and made some progress. So anything personally, it's inspiring and motivating to me. Like, okay, we're still kind of our target's still kind of where it needs to be, because of the things that these top players are sharing and telling, that it's, hey, we're not so far off. Maybe let's readjust, or we never thought of that. We didn't even know what we didn't know, and like refocusing our efforts and doing some of that. And I specifically had some insights and confirmations of stuff with distribution and with marketing.
And there were several instances of little things, Travis, where it was making connections, like confirming some of your thoughts in the past you've had. Whether it's meeting with James Earl Jones or other people. There were a bunch of little things that seemed to make it feel like, okay, there's some things that are falling into place that should be happening.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's a good point of like ideas or things that I've done, or if I've done on previous film and maybe I forgot about, or even literally within the last week having very specific thought, and what I call that spiritual direction of this is what you need to do. And then out here in the big ocean, like having this very specific person in mind that I need to meet with that's in Arizona. So a handful of those things really, even this morning writing my journal about like opening on one screen, one theater, and then going back and I mean, that was reconfirmed talking with a friend from Universal Distribution that exactly I threw something like that off, bounced that idea or that thought process off of him, and him coming back and saying yes, and this is, and then expanding and so so some of those like next step action items. I think as an artist or as a wannabe artist, you have these thoughts that come. For me personally, I have these thoughts that come, and then I doubt myself, because who am I? I'm from this little town in Twin Falls, Idaho. Who am I trying to play in this big world of film? And so I doubt myself. And so having those mentors, those friends that can come in and can confirm your thoughts not off track, like follow those thoughts. And so I think that's one thing, if I can stress, is just the importance of believing in yourself and battling through those thoughts that you have, that direction you've been given or blessed with, however you want to see that, like trusting your instinct and moving forward. So that's been very confirmational, is that the right word?
Yeah.
But just that, and so it's exciting, like, okay, I'm not crazy, and talking, or I'm talking with people that are just as crazy or crazier of what we're trying to do. So, but again, I'm so glad James came out here with me. helped make it happen, and much more convenient and stuff than I would have done on my own if it was just me. I would have drove out, got here last night, and probably stayed in my car in the parking lot of Walmart. And just my reality as a producer, like, hey, if I can save $150, let me save that. I love, I was in the military. I've slept on the dirt in Iraq, or slept on top of Humvee roofs or whatever, like sleeping in the back of the car in Walmart. That's like still living the dream. Yeah, that can be luxury in places that I've been and such. So like, how do you use those underdog advantages to help drive, like, I'm going to save that, some of those expenses or whatever to truly make my dream happen? And what sacrifices are you going to give to make yours happen? Next steps, right, starting off Monday running, is getting the poster, getting that, and kind of doing a public announcement of this is the project we're putting our hope into. Start looking for actors aggressively, trying to go and find those social media sites, and how do we have a casting flyer, how do we get that out to as many places online that we can, so we get out to our market, to try to start reaching out to the communities, to get that flyer out into the communities. Ideally would love to hit every radio, native radio station, to have that conversation with them and see if they would announce it, because we want to. I love discovering new talent. I believe there's so much talent in Native country that simply needs an opportunity. So as I'm trying to create an opportunity for myself with another film, creating it, sharing that opportunity. Hey, let's do this project together and create an opportunity for ourselves and for others that like this content we're producing, that love to get a casting sheet in front of every single, reserve in North America, to get out and invite the people to come and audition and get out to those community members. And something I want, trying to build this ambassador program where we have friends and in places that cover the U.S. and 500 plus sovereign nations within the borders of the United States that can take this and get this out to their own community, because it's an opportunity that doesn't come around all the time. And so those are really my focus right now, is getting those things going, and then still like how to get the funds and the sponsorships, or combination of that to keep going. Because personally my funds run out in about a month or so. So like how to so it can be made and make it as most proper as we can with kind of that, wanting that quality of the film to be raised. And to Monday morning, I hope to have reviews from the script from a good friend of mine, and then my wife, to have reviews, notes on that. And so I'll start going through, see what their notes are, and kind of, I've been away from the project for a couple of days, and then going through, and there's probably some more revisions that need to happen with the script, because why put in all this energy and effort if the script is still has very many obvious imperfections that you try to cover up. And script, I've never written a script that's perfect, or I don't know if there's ever been a movie that's made with a perfect script. And so there's some of that leadway too, is like, look, we're working, this will be the 6th film. I'm trying to make 12 movies before I'm considered a real filmmaker. I consider myself a real filmmaker. And so how do you improve on the next project?
And in thinking about this new movie, comparing it to your other films, where do you feel you are in the process? Do you feel you changed and grown? Like, where do you see this? Does it fit in really well with the other films? Like, tell us a little bit about where this movie fits.
Yeah. James is a good interviewer too.
Well, yeah, I do. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, it's easier if somebody else asking questions than yourself asking yourself questions to answer. So,
right.
Thanks for the co-hosting.
Well, I just want to know.
I already forgot your question. No, when I saw the poster mock-up that Chad sent, and I saw that right away, I just felt like this is going to fit in this nice little Holt Hamilton Films world we're creating. It's going to be something I hope to be very pleased with and honored and love to share with the world, this touch the water film. When I saw the poster, that's what that did to me. And so So I'm excited and motivated to like make this come to fruition, come to reality, and then just be able to compare where we're at in the progress of where we've been on the other films, and kind of what we mentioned a little bit is being, I feel like, leaps and bounds ahead of where we were with the others with the fun aspect of marketing and distribution, and just kind of seeing that full life of the project versus other times it's been so immense, so overwhelmed with just writing the script, so overwhelmed with just figuring out the camera that we're going to shoot with, figure out what actors are going to be there, that I feel like, especially on this trip, I've been able to separate those things. Those are still problems. Even the big guy, the big ladies and guys, the big fish talked about those same struggles today, but being able to push that aside and now let me put on that marketing distribution hat and walk through this and kind of have a strategy, which I like saying that word now because I feel like we're getting a strategy of it, and to be able to lay that out, and as James suggested too, to once I kind of have that strategy put together, to reapproach a friend at Universal and have him review it, and there's probably some things he'll critique and say this, what about this, or you didn't think about this theater over here, and just those things. So I feel like we're really farther ahead with the whole, you give something, you birth an idea, this creation, and then like if it just sits on your shelf and nobody ever sees it, which a good example is our Fry Bread TV series. It's been on the shelf for, I want to say, 2 years now. Nothing's really happening because we haven't done the marketing we should have, and people don't know about it. So we feel like we've built a good little mousetrap, and now it's like, how do you get people to that? And even conversations here, both of the people we met with specifically asked me, where's your Fry Bread series at?
Oh, right. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And so to me, it's like, wait, we have something that's still, that we created, and like all the hard work's done, it's finished. Well, that first episode is finished, and now it's just like, how do we get that to build some legs on it, so then we can go in and create that first season. So
just random question here for you. Someone who wants to get into the film industry, they want to get to even the place where you're at, they want to put something out, what would you suggest to them as far as building relationships, learning about the industry, kind of growing a little bit? What kind of suggestions would you have?
You go to places where people are at that do this. So yeah, that's us going to LA, where we know there's lots of people that do this. Or if you're in my hometown, Twin Falls, Idaho, I didn't know you could go into filmmaking growing up. Just magically appeared and loved watching movies and my imagination stuff. But going to where you're at and like, okay, I want to get involved with production, then okay, well, where is there a TV station there? Is there even like, okay, no TV, but is there a newspaper there, or a media place? With now there's so much stuff online that it's, go and learn, start learning on YouTube, watching stuff, filling your head with information and knowledge, and then putting it into action. And really, what is that next step? What is that? Right. What is it? And I guess my answer would be, I just came to this. Perfect. Is Visioneer. If you've ever heard the word Visioneer, look up Dennis Deaton. He has a thing called Visioneering. It's like it's an audio CD you can listen to. Amazing. But Visioneer, where you see yourself being in this industry, and have that become so real in your mind that you do what you need to do to then get to that point. But seeing with your spiritual eyes, and then as you start to move forward with that, you start to see with your physical eyes. Like, that would be the advice that I have. What is it that you want to do? See it with your spiritual mind. Close my eyes and I can vision that so real that I can almost taste it. I can hear the sounds. I can see those things. And then you open your eyes like, okay, that picture's not in front of me. What steps do I need to take so that my physical eyes see what my spiritual eyes already see? That would be, I think, the magic. Because then as you're going through the ups and downs, the trials of life, oh, poor me, you're fighting that victim mentality. You're becoming how do you use those experiences? Oh, I was born here, or I have this birth defect, or whatever those things are, and you're overcoming, and you're using that, because in my mind's eye, I already see myself having accomplished this. That's what that poster did to me. I see that poster, and in my mind, we've already shot, this movie's done. And now the movies that we're taking out to the market. That's what that did to me. That helped me even solidify more of those spiritual, what I was seeing in my spiritual eyes, that I had now seen it with my physical eyes in that poster form. And now it's just getting to the same point with the script, with having shot with shooting the movie and all those steps forward. Those are the steps forward so that I can see. But the more specific you can be, and the more you have that image, we can imagine, and then we can go to work making it happen. And I think as we do that things start to come together for us. There's a little piece comes in here, as James was talking about, there's a little piece solidifies that I had thought in my mind, and then it happened. Okay, that's a piece, I need to do that piece. I can be lazy and not do it, but now it's on me because I know I need to take that's one specific step that I need to take forward in moving that dream forward this much. Now it's on me to do the work. And that's something too, is like, yeah, we come out here and we got a lot of knowledge and wisdom, I guess you could say, but it still comes back to doing the work, to get out and do the work. Don't find excuses, find reasons and excuses to do the work. If this is really what you want to do, if this is really what you want to do, you're going to find the way to do it. If not, don't even kid yourself. Don't waste your time there. Go do whatever it else is that you're willing to let yourself, or you're trapping yourself, imprisoning, putting yourself in this prison because you're setting up your limiting beliefs. Anyway, I guess this got really philosophical. But no, those are things I really, really believe, like, that would be the wisdom. And so it's not even specific film wisdom or film insight or whatever. It's just, if there's something I have to offer, I think that would be what it would be. And I hear that same thread as I'm listening to different podcasts across different industries or different dreams,
that
or
applies to everything.
Yeah, that it's just something that applies to life, and then how do you harness it into your specific dream of what that is. So it's a good trip. It was worth the effort, worth the resources to make this happen. Trying to create win-wins for everybody, that you're involved with. Follow the journey, 2020. See where it ends up. Hopefully there's another episode.